What's going on, guys? What's going on? It's your guy JD. Hope all is well. Love and light, everyone. Today, guys, I have a special guest on, but I'm having an issue. I'm having an issue. Key opinion, Sharonda Lewis Herrera. What's going on, everybody? I am trying to bring Miss Nikki on, and I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah. So that is my issue. Oh, okay. Here she goes. Here she Nikki,
Hey.
hey, what's going on? I was about to get real nervous for a minute, like, yo, but yo, you're gonna have to log out of the other one. You might have to log out of the other one.
Okay, let me do that now. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on with my computer today.
yeah. So, guys, while Nikki is getting there's my boo. Okay, so key opinion must be your people's, Nick. She was waiting for you. So for those of you
Who?
guys that's on, thank you for joining. Today I want to be well, as you guys know, I already had Nikki on, so glad to have you back. Yes, it's been some odd months, so I'm glad to have you back. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. For those,
Always.
yeah, for those of you guys who don't know Nikki, she's been on the channel before, and give them a little backstory on who you are and what it is you're doing, and then I guess we'll go from there.
Okay, so I would say I kind of started with YouTube as far as like talking about like Dominican subjects and all things Dominican on
Hmm.
the Dominican route. So the first time I was
Shout out
on
to
there
the
was maybe
Dominican route.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Shout out to John. I want to say that was back in 2022, like the end of 22. And so from there, I had already had my own channel as well. And so I just kind of started um, getting with John and doing all the shows with him, talking about, living in the Dominican Republic, what's it like, dating of the Dominican, all of those things. So currently, I'm kind of trying to focus back on my channel and do some new things with that.
Okay, all right. So before you was on the channel, we spoke about pretty much your situation. You was on your way back home. You found yourself at your last dollar. So you had went through that whole ordeal, and now that you are
Mhm.
back home in the states, you're pretty much preparing to go back to Dominican Republic. So now that you're back in the states, what all have you done to set yourself up to go back to Dominican Republic, and why do you want to go back? What is it about the Dominican Republic that makes you want to go back so bad? Like, elaborate on that for us.
Okay, so you just gave me like, I don't know, like six things. So I'm gonna start with the first thing. The first thing
Okay.
is you're asking about me being on my last dollar and being hard down. That was so difficult for me because I've never been that down bad before in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all behind me getting married almost 2 years ago to a Dominican Venezuelan.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got back over there, I was actually working with the Dominican route, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much what brought me back over there. So I was there for 5 months, and that was earlier this year in January. While I was there, I was just pretty much trying to figure out how can I fund my lifestyle in this country. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I was still single, but still trying to figure out how I could get back at whatever point in time I decided to come back. So I ended up getting a job there in July, and I had already been back in the States. I actually had to come back so that I could get a job because for whatever reason, it's really difficult to find remote work while you're in the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of something that I want to talk about as well, like later on in the conversation, kind of giving people ideas as to what they can do to make it happen for themselves. So I ended up meeting a guy who was my best friend those 5 months that I was there back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward in May, we decided to get married. And so I had to go back or come back here to the States to start my new job. Then I had to go back in let's see, the end of July to get married. So got married,
Hmm.
was there for like 3 weeks, got back to the United States, and that was in August when I got back here, August the 10th. So now it is, I don't even know what date it is, October the
October
12th, I
the
think.
12th. No, the 13th. I think today's the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to come back and stack up some money, get myself together, uh, get put my stuff in storage. I bought a storage shed to put in the back of my mom's house to keep my things, so that way I don't have to keep paying for storage. That's a whole nother conversation that I want to have with people too, because I think it's a
Hmm.
great idea. Instead of paying a storage place, you can own your own storage unit at your if you have a place to put it.
Right.
Um, and so now I am working 100% remote, and I still do my little weekend thing, selling my drinks, working at the flea market. It's a daily hustle for me because
Hmm.
I'm trying to get myself back to where I was financially 2 years ago. So I'm
Okay.
on my way.
Okay. So now that you find yourself back in the States, you're hustling. Same thing I'm doing. I'm working. People have no idea. I'm working like three jobs. You know what I mean, just to make it happen.
Right.
So you find yourself hustling. So what is your game plan once you plan on going back? Like how long you think it's gonna take before you make that transition fully? And pretty much what is your game plan?
So I actually just got my plane ticket yesterday. I bought it last night. So I'll be back the 20, what is it, the 27th of December.
Uh huh.
And I'll be over there probably 2 years because we're going to be waiting for his paperwork to go through. And then we'll
Mm-hmm.
come back to the United States like in 2026, something like that. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, what all have I done in order to put like all of that in place?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of work. So I moved back home with my mom. I have a dog as well. So I've been even preparing him for the move. Having to get the paperwork in order for him. And actually, right now, my husband and I are looking for an apartment in Boca Chica.
Mm-hmm.
So once we find that apartment, we'll be there in January or end of December.
Okay. Okay. So how is the whole marriage process like? Because I'm sure people want to know, for those who might be interested in getting married, what is that process like what steps did you have to take in order to do that in Dominican Republic?
It's a lot of steps. Well, really and truly, it's not that it's a lot of steps. It's just that it takes time. So, it for me, it took me about 2 months to have all of the paperwork prepared. So
Hmm.
there's about six things that you have to have. There's like six requirements. So one is you have to have your birth certificate apostilled and translated. And some people don't even know what apostilled means, and some people say
I don't.
apostilled. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
didn't know what it was either until I had to go through this process. Like I didn't have a reason to have anything apostle, you know.
Right.
So that's one of the requirements. So having
Well, what
something apostle.
I'm sorry, before you go any further, apostle, what does that mean though? What does it mean?
So having something apostle is you have to go to your local government, like the courthouse, and it's a piece of paper that whatever your document is, and in this case it was my birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to have the birth certificate, like a brand new one. It couldn't be like my old one that I had. It had to be brand new and ordered. Um, so you take that, and the apostille is where they take a piece of paper that's printed and they stick it to the front of it. So the very top, there's like a little line like this thick that goes across, and it's like stapled and also has like glue.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they do that is because if that gets taken off, it your document is no longer a legal document, like it's no longer legally binding, basically.
Got it.
So that one thing you have to have apostilled, and then another thing you have to have apostilled is your what is it? see. Date of birth, and then the oh my gosh, I can't remember. It's well, one other thing that you definitely have to have is a letter of singleness. So you have to type that up and say that your intent is to get married, and you have to put the person's name and their information, and you have to swear that you've never been married before. And then you have to have that notarized and apostille.
Letter of singleness. I've never heard of no such thing. That's
Yeah,
really.
like a divorce decree is not good enough. You have to have the divorce decree and that, and have it all together. And then once
Uh-huh.
you have all of your paperwork together, you have to have it all professionally translated. I'm sorry, my allergies started kicking in
I,
last night, and I'm like, oh
yeah,
my god,
I kind of figured that. I see you rubbing the eyes. But go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And so yeah, so you have to have everything professionally translated. So
hmm
you can't just have somebody like me, type it up for you. Although I know how to do it, the difference between me doing it and a professional is that they're going to use the words that are recognized by their government, like their specific wording. But you also have to have a license. You have to be a licensed translator, and it has to be
hmm
recognized by your local government that you have your license. So they check all of that.
hmm
Um, so for us, I had everything in order. The only one thing that I would suggest that people not do, which is what I did do, I tried to be slick, and I had my letter of singleness in both English and Spanish so that I
hmm
wouldn't have to pay a translator, because I'm like, this isn't a government document. This is a letter. So why would
Right.
I have to do that? So one of the places that we went to, one of the courthouses in DR, the lady was like, this isn't even our type of Spanish. And I'm like,
hmm
girl, it's definitely your type of Spanish. Like, what do you mean? Like, are you retarded? This is not Mexican Spanish. This is
Uh,
definitely Dominican Spanish. Like, stop. So we went to four courthouses in one day.
uh-huh.
Every single one that we went to, and I think you were talking about my friend Key. Hi, Key.
Yeah.
Earlier, yeah, she was the one that told me to go to the last one that we went to. I wish that we would have gone there first, but
Uh-huh.
it was the last one, end of the day, and we had already been to three other places. And all three of those places kept saying that there was like one thing off, or they didn't have a date until like months ahead of time. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. I got to leave in 3 weeks. I need this now, you know?
hmm
And so when we went to the last place that my friend Key told us to go to, the lady was like, we can't do it here either. Like, you're gonna have to go and see a lawyer and pay the lawyer. Which to me now, I'm recognizing the lawyer was her friend, and she was trying to get
mm
some money for her homeboy. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, she said, "Well, if you want, I can ask my manager and see what she says." So she went and asked the manager. Me and my husband went in there feeling defeated because we had been through this all day.
hmm
So we go in there. She's looking over it with her little glasses on, and I'm thinking she's gonna have an attitude because everyone else did.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, "All right, so when you want to get married?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" She was like, "Yeah, when do you want to do it?" I was like, "Tomorrow at 11 o'clock." She
Uh,
said, "All right, tomorrow at 11 o'clock." I was like, "Oh my god, are you
wow.
serious?" She's like, "Yeah." And then now let me keep it real with you, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, everything was lovely and
Yeah.
great. No,
Listen, I want you to be as candid as possible, so go ahead.
it was a terrible day for me, terrible. So the first place that we went to, I got an attitude with the lady because I just could not believe how I was being treated. Like,
hmm
she was taking my apostille papers and just handling them haphazardly, and it pissed me off because I'm
Uh-huh.
like, yo, we are gonna go somewhere else. Like, don't tear my stuff up, bro. Like, I paid money for all of this.
hmm
You know what I mean? And she was just like, well, whatever. I said, man, please hand me my papers. Just give me my papers, because if you guys aren't gonna do it, we
hmm
will leave. It's okay. So my husband was like, babe, calm down. Now, mind you, he has never seen me. Well, actually, this was the second time he's ever seen me like pissed off.
hmm
The first time I was kind of tipsy, so this was the first time he had ever seen me. pissed off sober. So it's a
Okay.
little bit different, you know? So I was just like, um, in my mind, I'm thinking, we out of here, bro. Like, you're not the only person that can do this. Like,
Right.
I don't have to kiss your butt. Like, we out.
Maybe she was a little salty because she wanted to be the one marrying an American and not, and it's just
I, bro, I
you
felt
know
that vibe with
yeah.
all the three places that we went to. These women were hating on me, bro.
Uh, I could
Yep,
see that. I could see it. I could see it. You do find people that get envious, over other locals, especially when they're gonna get married or whether even in a relationship. A lot of times, you
yep,
even got some that might even try to sabotage, your relationship. You know what I mean? Only because they don't want to see the next person happy. I've encountered it. I've
absolutely.
encountered that, and I've seen it, happen a lot of times. So tell me the whole process of the marriage. How much does that cost? Is it how much does it cost?
For an American to marry a Dominican, it's $180.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's for the marriage license, the certificate.
Mm,
Yep. But
okay.
this is what I wanted to tell you. So when we left from out of there, I didn't realize that I pretty much just like left him behind. Like I was so pissed. Like I just wanted to get out of there because I felt like I had held my tongue good enough. Like I thought I did pretty good. No,
Mm-hmm.
we got in that car and he was like this isn't gonna work. So that all the what you just did in there, I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever want to see that again. And I
Uh,
was like, all of what? I
uh,
said, I went easy on her. All I said was, may I have my papers, please? That's
uh,
fine. We will leave. Not a problem.
mm-hmm.
And he was like, it was the way that you did it. I said, let me tell you something, bro. Like, I am an American. I don't care about kissing anyone's butt, bro. Like, if you're not going to help me, I'm out. Like, say less.
But
It,
I find it that us as Americans and foreigners, I'm gonna just keep it real. We do have this sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Being from the states, a lot of us are afraid to admit it. But I have found myself in that situation a few times. And I had to catch myself, especially being from New York. We are labeled as
Yeah.
yeah, we can be labeled as aggressive. And I kind of had to tone it down just a little bit only
Yep.
because I didn't want to get the kind of reaction that you know what I'm saying, that I'm not ready
Yeah.
for. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? So a
Yep.
lot of times, sometimes, I know, and this might help you guys. A lot of times we might have to just put our tail
Bite the
between our
bullet.
legs and bite the bullet, only to avoid a long-term confrontation. You know what I mean? I do
Yeah.
know that a lot of Dominican, they don't take lightly to that. You know what I'm saying? Because they especially if they feel like they being ridiculed by a gringo, man. They're like, yo, in so many words, yo, who you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have that kind of thing going on. You know what I mean? So try. This is just my advice. When you find yourself upset and frustrated with a local, just try to tone it down a little bit. You just always remember that you are in their territory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. So I always
I,
just keep that in mind as a friendly reminder, guys. Just a friendly
right.
reminder.
You're absolutely right. And I know for me, it was my ego. Like as a woman, I'm like, girl, who are you talking to? Like you don't tell me. Like I'm the one here with the money, doing the things. You want this money or you don't? I'm out. Again, that's that American attitude. I completely agree with you. And so the next place we went to, I told myself, okay, girl, they're gonna give you attitude there as well. Just keep it cool when you ask your questions. Keep your tone down. Like I'm going through all of this in my mind because I'm like, dang, if I act up again, we might not get married. Like he might be like, nope, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to marry him. I love him. I'm in love with him. So we get to the next place again, BS. The lady tells us, oh, we can't accept this paper. You got to go and have this with a lawyer. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was like, man, we literally just left from another place. And the only reason why we didn't do it with them was because they didn't have the date that we were looking for. So clearly there's something that maybe you're overlooking? Is there a supervisor that I can speak with on some
Mm-hmm.
Karen, on some American stuff, whatever? I'm cool with that. And she was just like, well, you can talk to this lady. And I guess it was like the lead, but not the supervisor. So she comes over and she says the same thing. So when we leave out of there, I'm pissed again. But my
Mm-hmm.
husband says to me, like, that was much better. Like, you asked questions, eloquently. You didn't, make me feel frustrated, like, oh, why is my wife acting like this? I felt proud of how you handled yourself. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, whew, thank God. So then they sent us to some place out in the country that doesn't even exist. From
Uh-huh.
that place, they were like, well, if y'all want to try over there, y'all can try over there. We went over there, they didn't have it. Then we came back. The third place that we went to, they were like, oh, we can take this, but you can't get married until like September, October. And I was like, oh my God, bro. No. So
Uh, damn. So
so
then
we
you had to go through all. You went through a lot.
I did. And check this out. To get my paperwork from
Uh-huh.
here, I couldn't get it in my jurisdiction. I had to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. I live in Greensboro because you have
Uh.
to go to the capital of your state to get it. You can't just get it in your county to get an
Oh wow.
apostille.
Wow.
So I had to go there twice. Once to go there and like, fill out the information and everything. And then the second time was to pick it up because they could either mail it to you or you could go pick it up. And I was like, I'm not trying to wait for it in the mail. I want to go pick it up because
Mm-hmm.
it could get lost. And I was on a timeline. So I started the process 3 months before my trip back to DR. I went there immediately when I got back to the States because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how long it was going to take me to get all of my documents in order.
Mm.
So I do want people to know this. If you're thinking about getting married, you don't have to have a lawyer. So many people are going to try to make you get a lawyer, but like me and Carl, we did everything to help John, our boy John from the Dominican route. We
Right.
did everything for him to help him so that he would not have any issues. And
Okay.
he was able to get married and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to use a lawyer. So and my girl Key, she's always telling me what to do because she's been married to a Dominican now for like almost like over 2 years. So she's like
Uh-huh.
constantly giving me the blueprint as to like how to do things the right way.
Okay, so see, you guys heard it from the horse's mouth, man. It is a process to get married in Dominican Republic. It's a process, guys. I just want to read some of these comments and shout out to everybody that's joining in. Those of you who are watching, please don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Okay. So Key Opinion says that's why I didn't go inside with my husband. So you guys know, just a word of advice: if you are American getting married to a Dominican, let the Dominican go in there and do all the footwork. You know what I mean? Just to avoid any mishaps or confrontation or any delay that might happen in your marriage. Okay. So that's just some advice there. Indoor Emblem says, "What are you sure? Who are you referring to? Pookies and Ray Rays?" I guess we must have missed that one. He says, "From what I've heard, they have been mistreating Black Americans, and they ripped off so many of them big time." Um, I've never encountered any mistreatment with Dominicans. I never encountered any, so I can't give you my not advice, but my opinion on that. I've never encountered any of that, so I don't know. But in terms of being ripped off, I mean, we all get gringoed, whether you're black, white, foreigner. We all get gringoed. I mean, that's just part of the game. You know what I mean? So yeah. Endoro says, being unruly, rude, you are correct, or should never display that. But overall, that's not the pedigree of Black Americans. Perhaps some guys who were drunk. In my situation, I guess being from New York, we are accustomed to having things done in a New York minute. That's just, I don't know where Nikki went, but I'm sure she'll be coming back in. That's just the mentality of us New Yorkers. So I kind of find myself getting frustrated when I don't get things done in a timely manner. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean, Indora, when I'm talking about toning it down a little bit. We as Americans, like I gotta say it again. we do have a sense of entitlement when we do visit certain countries, and we have to take that westernized mentality out, so that we can adapt to, the new lifestyle that's around us. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. I just DR has humbled me, to say the least. It has really humbled me. Let me put Nikki back on. Um, it has really humbled me, to say the least. You know what I mean? It has taught me to be patient. You know, it has, yeah, it's taught me to be hella patient, man, because, like I said, I'm just accustomed to having things done a certain way. And
Yeah.
so that's pretty much what I mean about toning it down a little bit. And then there was another situation where I had got real frustrated, because of a situation. I was expecting certain things to be done, and I was like, I was going in on the guy, and he was like, he gave me that look like, yo, tranquilo. He's like, yo, tranquilo. You know what I mean? So once I heard the tranquilo, I was just like, okay, you know what, Jay, you might be going in a little bit too much. Just tone it down. So I kind of smooth things out a little bit, because at the end of the day, guys, this is a territory. It's like a
Yep.
foreigner coming into our country, and screaming on us, and you know what I'm saying? You like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? So sometimes we got to put ourselves in the other person's situation, in order to see the bigger picture here. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying, Enduro. Um, so the next one, Carl, yes, it is a process. He's talking about the marriage thing. And he says, I'm so happy for her. It's always good to hear success stories just like yours, Jay. That's the end result, after all. Change those negative into good, but never apologize for being truthful. Exactly.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah, yeah. When it comes to being treated a certain way, of course, you got to speak up for yourself, But in terms of, like, our sense of, um, uh, what's the,
Entitlement.
yeah, and our sense of exactly, our sense of entitlement is what we all are we are guilty of it. Being from the States, we just accustomed to a certain way of life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we can't
Yep.
go into another country and expect that same thing. We just can't. We have to learn how to adapt. It's called
Yep. And
adaptability.
it's so funny because that's right. My friend, once again, I keep speaking about her, but Key, man, she was telling me the other day, she was like, "You are so patient," and I was like, you know, I guess I am. Yeah, I've learned to be more patient, and now that we're having this conversation, Jay, I think I can attribute it to that. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? From being over there, learning how to boil water to take a hot shower, and learning how to deal with when you don't have any electricity, and all of these different things, like things that used to just piss me off when I first got there, that were just like, oh my God, like how can I deal with this?
Uh-huh.
Now it's like second nature to me. It doesn't bother me at all because I know exactly what to do. And
Right.
I'm going to be shipping a lot of stuff over there from Amazon,
Ah.
for our apartment. I don't
Okay.
know if we're going to have a planta or an inversor. I don't know because we haven't found our apartment yet. But
Uh-huh.
it doesn't even matter. I'm getting like a something similar to a jackery. Are you familiar with what a jackery is?
Wait, familiar with what?
A jackery.
No, no. What is that?
So a jackery is like a an electrical box basically that they have like RVs, or if they have RV camping and things like that, like somebody who does a lot of things when they're outside. So what it does is it has like, I don't know, anywhere from two to three up to like six plugs. So that way, when you run out of energy, you have something to plug your stuff into, and it lasts for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. So, and they start at like $89, and they go up to like 800. There's some
Uh-huh.
that have solar power, some that don't. So it's a lot of different things, but that's definitely one of the things that I'll be using for my job because I have to have
Uh-huh.
a constant energy stream.
So that's something that I definitely need to look into, especially, living in the compo, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, I'll send you some information on that.
hmm I'm gonna just read some more of these comments. Good afternoon, fam. Angela Perez. Shout out to Angela Perez. Thank you for joining in. Um, So is that Nikki? Crazy World says, is that a generator you talking about?
It's basically, you could look at it as like a mini generator, but yes,
And how much? How much?
absolutely.
Because that's something that I'm definitely gonna need. How much does something like that go for? You found it on Amazon?
Yes, 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 yes. I'll send you a couple links just to give you
Please,
some
please.
options. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watch a lot of like RV videos. Like I
Okay.
love camping and R&B and like stuff like outside stuff.
Uh
And
huh.
so from that, I have learned a lot of things that I'm like, yo, this will be so helpful for when people are in DR. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
And so, and I've never seen this stuff over there. I've
Uh
never
huh.
seen anybody have it. So I'm like,
And you
that's
see stuff like that. That's I'm sorry to cut you off, but for people that's looking to start a business, I always say this: when you see there's a need for something, and you're trying to brainstorm, trying to figure this shit out, like yo, what business could I start in Dominican Republic? If you see that there's a need for something, bring it to Dominican Republic. It will work. It'll definitely work. Research it and see if it's a big need, and if it is, tap into it, guys, for sure. Tap into it.
and see, I literally had that conversation with my husband. I'm like, listen, this is something that I've never seen here. Now, the issue that we're going to run into is location, right? If we
Okay.
were to do something like a business that sold those types of things, more
Mm-hmm.
than likely there's two issues. One, if we were in, what is it called, Panini?
What, like
I'm
a
saying it
san
wrong.
a, san a sandwich you
This
talking about?
not no 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 the
You said
city.
panini.
This
Oh,
this I don't know. It sounds like Italian, but it's like in Santo Domingo. But
okay.
it's a nice area where people have money there. So a
Mm-hmm.
place like that, I could totally sell stuff like that there. However, the need won't be quite as you know,
Zero, zero,
dire.
zero to hero. See, it's always good to have the viewers on. They telling you what it is. Okay, so you got three pronunciations. Kia Pena says Piantini, Piantini. Is it Piantini?
Biantini.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I can't see the comments. When I went to go see them last time, I that's how I knocked myself out of here. So I got to get my computer and stuff all together because I'm all over the place. But yeah,
Okay,
B and
so
T, that's
Piantini.
right.
All right, I just want to read some more of these questions because I don't want people to think I'm skipping over them and stuff. Ov Gather says the form I-864 is called the affidavit of support. Did you have to fill that out and also show your tax returns? If so, how many tax returns did you have to show?
No, I didn't have to fill that out. And the reason why is because I didn't do that process. The only thing that my husband and I have done is we just got married in the Dominican Republic. So I have not even started the process of trying to bring him to the US.
Okay.
Um, for a few reasons. He really doesn't even want to come here. And I know most everyone in the comments is going to be like, oh, shut up. Of course he does. That's lies. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me. But,
Hmm.
but for now, we're going to be over there for 2 years anyway. So whenever I get to it, I'll get to it. So yeah, I don't know about that form. Long story short,
Okay.
unfortunately. Sorry about that.
And OG Mike, this is Device OG. Shout out to OG Mike. He says, hold on, guys. No. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. No, not that I know of. Shout out to OG Mike. He says, men get a lawyer because the Dominican Republic takes the side of the female. She will get all of your stuff. Facts. You know what? I will say I would get, me personally, I would get a lawyer only because if you are, whether you're male or female, if you're a female or female foreigner that's, thinking about getting married and you've got investments, you've got property, you've got businesses, it would be ideal for you to get a lawyer. You have to
Yeah.
protect you in that situation. Yeah, you definitely it's highly advisable because you want to protect your assets. And I have said this previously because I didn't know until now. Because before I didn't think that DR had prenups. They do have prenuptial agreements. Okay, so therefore, yeah, you definitely want to make sure you get a lawyer and sign a prenuptial agreement just so you don't have any future mishaps. You know what I mean? I always tell everybody you got to protect your investments. And just like OG Mike said, who you think they're gonna side with? The gringo or the local? Not to say that, your significant other's gonna take you for a ride. It's just a protection, you know. It's just a protection, guys. You know.
After what I've been through, I'm not even mad about that comment, bro. Not at all. He's absolutely right. Because
Yeah.
people change, man. People change.
I dated one for 2 years that didn't know who she was until after the 2 years. You know, you started, you just like, damn, who is this woman? You know, the person you think you know, you really don't know. It takes time. You know, the first when you meet a person for the first time, it's a facade. It's
Representative.
not. It's a
Yeah. Just
representative of who.
just
Yeah,
representative. Yeah. Yeah.
right, right. Until them layers start coming off, and you like, oh shit, I didn't know you. You gave it up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna bring you on my channel to
Uh
hear
huh.
that story because I gotta hear that story. I love hearing these American Dominican stories because they're
And
so
you know,
interesting.
till this day, this is like the top one of my top videos, my dating experience. You know, I got a
Yeah.
lot of positive and negative. You know, you got to take the good with the bad. You know, it is what it is. You
Hmm.
know. Oh yeah. Type of CPT. Shout out to Type CPT. He says paz y bendiciones, Reina La Nikki and Ray J Day. I appreciate you guys.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
gracias.
Who else here? Indoro Emblem. He says, Jay, thanks for all of this informative videos. We all need to live and learn. Good luck to the both of you. I appreciate you, bro. And to answer your questions, I don't want you to think that I'm skipping over your question, bro. But you know, he says basically he's disagreeing with what I said, and that everybody's entitled to opinion. We can agree to disagree all day. This is what makes the universe go around. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what he's saying is he disagrees. He says, "But I have to correct you. We are all not that way. I disagree with you. We all do not conduct or behave in such a way. Are you specifically referring to projects that you're paying folks for? I see. Then, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Yeah, projects that I'm paying folks for. You expect one thing, and if it's not being done one way, you're gonna go ape shit, you know. So that's pretty much what I'm talking about. You know, and not we are all not the same, but you do have that small percentage of people who do go down there with a sense of entitlement. It does happen. Not to say that we all act like that, but there is a small percentage, my brother, definitely.
And I
Um,
think it's not even intentional either. A lot of
Right,
times.
right, right. We sometimes we like I said we are so accustomed to our way of life in the states that it's just a natural thing, you know, to be that way. You know what I'm saying? We do it not even realizing we doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm
Absolutely.
just saying for those who do it, it may not be you, but there for those of you who do go out there with this sense of entitlement, we got to tone it down just a little bit, just a little bit. Um, Ovigada. Set up a trust with your lawyer before getting married. Hmm. Great information. I appreciate that advice. You hear that, guys? Set up a trust before you get
What?
married. Kia Penny says,
Oh,
Ovigada, if they get a green card, they can go back and forth. They just can't be outside the United States for more than 1 year. Okay. All right. So I guess if you're marrying a foreigner and they get a green card, you know they can't be there for more than 1 year. They gotta go back. You know, go back. So I get that. Prince says when you first meet someone, it's all about them showing you who they want to be, not who they are. Yeah, facts. Goes back to that representation part.
yeah,
Definitely,
absolutely.
definitely. So now that okay, so you've been married for how long now? It's been what 8 months now.
No, no, we got married on July the 31st.
Oh,
So
okay.
end of
So
this month, it will have only been 3 months so far.
okay, well, congratulations on your union. So what advice would you give someone who is possibly looking to get married, looking to tie the knot in Dominican Republic? Like, what advice would you give since you've been through the process? Like, what advice would you give somebody?
So one thing that I do want to mention, and this is part of the advice. So I actually married my best friend. When I met him earlier this year in January, what was that, 9, 10 months ago? He was my driver. So we were together like 2, 3 times a day, 2, 3 times, or I don't meal, 2, 3 days out of the week, right?
Hmm.
So for a few hours at a time, and then sometimes we'd go hang out, and then we would go to the bodegas together, not the bodegas, the colmados. We would go, to the pool. We would do all kinds of little things, right? And as time went on, I was like, oh my God, dude, am I falling in love with my best friend? This is crazy.
Mm.
And I shot my shot. Like, look, I know this is probably weird for you because we're besties. Because I had met his baby's mom. He has met guys that I was going on dates with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
Okay.
were literally best friends. So, and a lot of me was like, I used to bro him, like, yeah, bro, like, mi manito, manin. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we hung out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you even go back to some of my videos on TikTok, he and I used to freestyle together. Like, literally just like a love and basketball type relationship. I mean, just like that. So, um, my advice is that when you're dating somebody, try to be their friend first, if it's possible. I mean, it happened like that for me because I wasn't looking for anything with him. I wasn't even attracted to him like that. Like, I thought it was a cute guy. I found him
Yeah.
attractive, but I wasn't attracted. And same
Uh-huh.
for me. He was like, I didn't even like I think you're beautiful. I always told you that, but I wasn't looking at you like I'm trying to get at you, like all these other Dominican guys. And I
Uh-huh.
was just like, yeah, I know you never hollered at me, and I was like, I kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like, that made me
Yeah.
kind of like, excuse me. So yeah, but for women, I would say the main thing is if you are traveling there, spend that time, like days, a couple days out of the week with them. Don't just do, and sometimes it can work, but most times it doesn't. Where
Mm-hmm.
you'll meet somebody and then you'll go visit for like a week, and then a month or two later, you're like, oh, we want to get married. It's like, yikes. You've
Right.
only been with them for that short amount of time. Like, really get to spend that daily time with them. Live with them for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lived with my husband for a little while, a couple of months, couple of weeks here and there, back and forth, back and forth. And that kind of let me see how clean is he, how does he want his food, how clean, he got to see how clean I am because
Yeah.
I'm a neat freak when it comes to that kind of a thing. But that would be my suggestion for women. For the men, oh, and let me also mention this. He needs to take you out on little dates. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be, something
Uh-huh.
around the way. But he needs to show you that he's willing to spend some of his money, man. Like, to
Right.
me, if a local Dominican man is spending his money on an American woman,
Uh-huh.
that's
Right.
that's
And
key.
it's not about how much. It's the
No, not at
principle.
all.
You know
It's
what I'm
the
saying?
principle. Yes,
It's definitely well for me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like with a woman, if
absolutely.
she's knowing like, and that's I think for me guys, I'm gonna give you just my advice. What made me fall in love with the chick that I was with. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really wasn't attracted to her like that. She wasn't the best looking woman that I had ever been with. But as you get older, it's like the treatment. I like the way she treated me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
The
yes.
nurturing, the catering. Like that's what really like drew me to her. But I would say when a woman tells you off the bat that she loves you, that's a red flag. Definitely a red flag, and they tend to do that. You know what I mean? In the DR, a day or two of meeting them, they already telling you that they love you. So that's just my advice. And in my situation right now, I've been very transparent with y'all. I'm dating. You know what I'm saying, and juggling like three right now. You know what I'm saying, but you got to kind of figure it out. Like it's okay to date multiple people to see who's the best fit. So my advice, guys, take your time. Like Nikki said, be straight up, be transparent with these women. Listen, I'm not here to play with your emotions. I'm dating to see who I could possibly be with long term. You know what I'm saying? So that there's
I
no
think that's
expectation.
smart.
Yeah, so that there's no expectations there, because I find it that with a lot of Dominican women, they tend to, once you get with them, they won't go. You know what I'm saying? So you got to set boundaries. You got to set boundaries. I'm not just gonna say Dominican women, but men too. You got to set those boundaries so that they know exactly what to expect. You know,
Yeah,
that's just
I
that's just my advice, guys. Just my advice.
I think that is a great point, Jade. The boundary setting is everything because when you're not setting those boundaries, I think that it opens you up to be in a toxic relationship, right? Like, and to me, that is the whole reason as to why there are toxic relationships, because boundaries were not ever set. And a lot of times, like nowadays, people don't even understand what it means to set a boundary, nor do they know how to create that. And for me, I'm not stupid. I'm not naive, and I know a lot of people. It's it's so funny to me how some people are so negative, and they just want so badly for it not to work out. You know.
Hmm. I'm just gonna read some of these comments. Big Flea, Big Flea, homie said, "Dang, the driver got sis. Sis will be looking like a dummy when that paperwork drop." Oh gosh, Big Flea, nah, Big Flea, you ain't say that, Big Flea. Kia Pena said, "Big homie, Nikki is no dummy. Trust me." He said, Big Flea says, he says, "I hope not. Them Sankey Pankies are all about the green card." I just found out what a Sankey Panky is. Like I didn't know that was like a male
A
term
male
of like
gigolo,
a
like a
male
gigolo.
gigolo. I had no
Man.
idea that's what a Sankey. You learn something new every day for real. I never knew that's what that meant.
And
Um,
I'm gonna tell you what's funny about what's his name, Flea.
yeah, Big Homie Flea. Shout out to Big Homie Flea. That's my dog though. He's a supporter. You know what I mean? I'm a
Yeah,
diehard supporter. So shout out to Big Homie Flea. But
that's
go
what's
ahead. What you
up.
gonna say?
So I was just gonna say to him, it's funny because I literally just was talking about that, right? But what a lot of people don't know about my relationship, especially at face value, if they've never met me and they don't know our story, what they don't know is when I first met him, I would make jokes about that. And I actually tried to introduce him to friends, like girls that I know, like, I want you to come to the US because you're my best friend. Like, I want to still keep hanging out with you.
Uh
But
huh.
he was like, man, I don't even want to go to the US. I have two daughters. Like, I don't want any of that. Like, I'm cool here. He was like, so many Dominicans, a typical Dominican is dying to go to your country. He's like, not me, bro. I've made good money in my country. I love my country. I'm good. So for months and months, I tried to introduce him to people, and he's like,
Hmm.
nah, I'm good. Like, and I saw the girls who he dealt with, and I was like, I mean, yeah, you are kind of good. She's hot. Like, I dapped him up and everything. Like, when I say we were homies for real, like, we were homies for real. Like, he gave me the okey doke on certain dates that I went on, and then like, oh no, that guy looks a little crazy, that kind of a thing. But
Uh huh.
again, from day one, it was so transparent, and I threw him a couple of bones, like, well, let me know if you want to try to get your papers or not, because I might have somebody for you, kind of a thing.
Uh
And he was
huh.
like,
Okay.
I don't care about that. So when people say those things, I'm like, I wish you could have been in the car in that conversation, but at the same time, I also don't care. Like, it's cool. Like,
Right. I
when
mean,
just because someone said something, it doesn't make it true. Like,
true.
when people
Exactly. That's why, and, I always say we can agree to disagree. All
yeah,
day. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's just how you project your opinion. You know what I mean?
right. And
Um,
and and I just want to lastly throw this in there as a wellness advocate, and I see this in you as well, J Day. I at 43 years old, I no longer allow anyone's opinion of me to change my opinion of me.
amen. Amen.
So
Amen.
it is what it is, bro.
I
I'm
res-
happy.
I respect that. Um, I'm just gonna read some more of these comments here before we go any further. Caribbean Casanova says, "La Nikki from the DMV area, that's for sure."
I am
He
totally not from there. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay. What's DMV abbreviated for?
That's like the what is that? Maryland, Virginia, DC, DC,
Okay,
Maryland, Virginia.
DC. Okay, now it makes sense. Now makes
Carl
sense.
is from there. Carl on the call. I mean, in the
Okay.
chat, he's from there.
Caribbean Casanova also says, "Nah, that's the okey doke. That's why most Western people get caught. They spend $20. Y'all spend 2,000. Sounds like a good investment on their part." Cray, cray. Shannon Cabrera says, "They say I love you freely. It's a Latin thing." Yeah, it must be because that's the only I've traveled to other parts of the Caribbean, and I only find it that I've only heard it from really Latin women, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
whoa,
for sure.
yeah, I've never heard that outside of, what I'm saying, the Latin countries where women just
My
tell you 2 days after meeting you they love you. You know what I'm saying? So of course
Yeah,
you need to question that. Prince
absolutely.
says, "Yo, Jay, you are my hero. 3 the hard way. Much respect." Nah, I'm just being transparent with y'all. I mean, how you gonna find the right one if you don't shop around? You know what I'm saying? You gotta shop. And there's nothing wrong with shopping around. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you
Yeah.
just have to be transparent. That way, there is no expectations. You know what I'm
See, this is
saying?
the thing though, J Day, let me ask you this. I tried to do that in my 30s, like late mid 30s. It was hard for me to do that because of the fact that my like attention span and then like my memory, like I will get stuff mixed up. So what I did was I would date for a little while until like, oh, I like it or I don't like it, and then move on to something else.
Uh huh.
But because of like deal breakers and stuff like that. But I've never really been able to do the consecutive thing. But I feel like men, you guys do it all the time. I don't know how you do it. I never could do it.
Well, I
It
will
just
say
didn't work
it's
for
not
me.
it's not it's not easy. Juggling 3 for me is not easy. And you got to weigh it out, guys. You got to weigh it out, because just from my experience, I'm gonna tell you, when you start juggling more than 2, and you start talking to them on a regular, eventually, those feelings start to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you get yourself in a situation like, damn, like which one? You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much where I'm at now. Like, I kind of narrowed it down, and when you find yourself narrowing it down, in my like I said, in my situation, I'm catching feelings for in mainly the situation. You know what I'm saying? You start feeling sorry for the situation. Them being living
Oh
in
God.
living in poverty and all of that stuff. That shit will get you. It will get you. So, in my advice to you guys when it comes to that, just try to limit. Just try to limit it, and especially if you one of those that's looking for something serious. You know what I'm saying? Just limit
And
it.
you just use common sense, man. I'm telling you. I feel
Yeah,
like when it
yeah.
comes to Americans dating Dominicans, bro, the common sense gets thrown out of the window so often, and that's where things go left
Uh huh.
every single time.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm like I I don't want to say too much because I want to get my. I never know who's watching me on here. Out of the 3,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
I gotta I gotta be easy with that. But anyway, uh, Sharonda Checo said networking is the key. Type of CPT said, shout out to Tight CPT, man. That's one of my diehard supporters, man. I appreciate you always. He says, love without boundaries is more exciting. Ja, 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 ja.
Now,
Listen,
first of all, you know, ja
listen.
ja ja is ha ha ha,
Ha ha.
right?
Yeah,
In
I
Spanish.
know. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I know what that means. Um, Crazy World says they call it the long game. You have to just be careful and take it slow. Exactly, guys. Take your time. Take your time. Especially, if you one of those brothers that's looking to get married, possibly start a family, in Dominican Republic, all these things. And I'm at a crossroad. I guess I'm in a midlife crisis. I'm damn near 50. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure this shit out. My the biggest fear for me is getting with a woman that's selling her ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. I
yeah.
said even if I go in it without it working out, as long as I get a beautiful children out of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. And me being in what I have been in, experience dating a Dominican woman and going through all of what I went through. My mindset now, guys, is just like, yo, we have children. If it don't work out, you go your way and I go mine. You know what I mean? I mean, I was blessed with kids out of it. I'm happy with that because at the end of the day, I'm not building this house just for nothing. I'm trying to set a legacy and leave that house behind to my kids if God forbid something happens
So
to
you
me.
don't have children.
I have one, but she's not going. She doesn't even want to go to DR like that.
How old is she?
She's 17. She's at that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's yeah. So in my situation is like, I'd rather just start my family there, and like I said, God forbid something happens, I got my house to leave something, leave behind. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. But
Absolutely.
I'm not at this point. I'm just like, and then building a house, all that shit. It costs a lot of money. So juggling three can be costly too, guys. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't. I mean, I try to limit myself with that, because I already know my situation. But don't. What's that saying? Don't bite off too much you can't chew.
Don't, yeah, bite off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't bite off
Don't
too
bite
much
off too
so
much you can't
you
chew.
can
Yeah.
handle or chew. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Chew.
chew. Yeah, yeah.
Chew. Yeah. Don't bite off too much you can't
Don't bite
chew.
off more. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Right, right, right. Pretty much. Prince says, I'm a man and I can only deal with one woman at a time. I had six dames at one time and it about drove me crazy. And once I was in love with two women at the same time. I can only do one.
Oh,
Mm.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Not in love with two. Ay,
Well,
Dios mío.
but you know what? I can see how it can happen. I'm not here
I
to
can
judge,
too.
but it can happen. And people say, "Oh, how can you love two people?" Like it can happen. It can happen, and then you find yourself like caught up in the mix, like damn, you know what I'm saying? And that's my biggest fear, man. Like I just being raised by women, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to hurt no one. I don't want to hurt nobody's nobody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm always just straight up and transparent. And that way, ain't no expectations. You already knew what it was from the gate. You had a
Yeah,
choice.
for sure.
So if your feelings get caught up
That's
in it, that's
important.
on that's pretty much on you. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that.
uh, Prince T Tight of CPT says, "Me and the whole family will be in DR. Let me know when, man. I'd like to meet you in person, bro. It's been what going on 3 years, back and forth. So let me know. I'm not sure when I'll be down. I'm looking at December, but flights is looking crazy right now. They looking real crazy, guys. Um, Me and the whole family will be in DR for the election week. We will be away from this BS. Thank you. Big Homie Flea, Prince at Prince. My situation currently is getting expensive to maintain them dames. Yeah, guys, to say the least. So you got to narrow it down. You know what I'm saying? Especially, like I don't play the field. I'm be 45 in next year, man. At some point, it's like,
I gotta
yo,
ask.
go ahead.
Okay, so the gentleman who said it gets expensive to maintain them. My question to him is when he's saying that he's maintaining them, in what way is he maintaining them? And then also, what is the goal in doing that?
Mm, mm.
I'm just curious because I feel like
Well, see, and that's
with,
that's for me. Like, I'm not. I'll help you out every now and again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not here. I'm not here to find it. And I let them know straight. That's why I say, guys. I think where a lot of fellows go wrong, they just not transparent enough. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because once
definitely.
you once you're straight up and let them know, who's real and who's not. That's how you cipher them out. You cipher them out. Listen, I'm not here. I'm not here to be taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind helping you out every now and again, but the last thing I'm looking for is a woman that just wants me for my money. You know, and you let
And
them know. You got to let them know. Like they already know that a lot of women are labeled in the Dominican Republic as choppy choppies. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So if you
yeah,
giving off choppy vibes, it's time to chop your ass completely. Let's just be real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And that to me is the question that I have. Like when people are getting involved from the very beginning, I think that a lot of times certain guys they mess up because they lead with that. They lead from day one, mommy, I'm making money, da da da. And then they wonder why they're in the middle. It's like, damn, every
yeah,
time I look up, she's asking me for money, bro. Like
that's
I'm
because you
I'm
giving off money.
frustrated.
You
That's like,
giving
yo,
off
but you
money
start, that's
vibes.
how you, yes, bro, that's
You
how you
giving off
started
money
it.
vibes. So if that's how you coming at them, what you think they looking for, But
And
guys, go ahead. I mean,
well,
we can go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to know, like, when American guys, and maybe one day we can do a forum where we have maybe two American women and two American guys to have this
Uh huh.
forum because I wonder, how when they're starting off the conversation, what is it other than the physical that is drawing them to even want to try to deal with? a Dominican woman like that. And then what is drawing the Dominican woman, obviously, other than money? Where are they meeting these people? What is the conversation about other than are you hungry? Have you eaten? Um, things like that. Like, are you guys having enlightening conversation? Are you guys talking about building? Like, I just have so many questions.
Mm. Well, you know what? We're gonna say that for another topic because we done
Yeah, we
reached
got to
the
do it.
end. Yeah, we done reached the end. Guys, I appreciate all the love and support. As y'all know, it runs for an hour. And tomorrow, guys, I normally don't do a live on a Sunday, but I'm gonna have one of my boys on tomorrow, guys. And he is somebody that I've known since high school who has been deported to Trinidad and Tobago. And
Ooh,
before he got deported, he grew up in the state. I'm gonna let him tell his story. I
so
spoke to
sorry.
him. I spoke to him today. We've been in contact for a while. He actually it was good friends with Bangum Smurf, who was signed by 50 Cent, the artist. So I'm probably gonna try to have Bangum Smurf on along with him tomorrow. If not, I'll
Nice.
have him on and then maybe have Bangum Smurf on at another time. So you guys stay tuned for this interview tomorrow. Expect to be between the hours of 12 and 1 o'clock. All right. Like I said, guys, I appreciate all the love and support. It's 20 of you guys on here. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys, want to see more of content and there's any questions or topics that you want us to bring up that's relatable to you, be sure to let me know, man, for sure. But again, guys, I appreciate you. Until next time, I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all take care.
Bye, guys.